Thank you so much, delegates. As we make our way back into the room, may I please request that we clear the first 3 rows for the Science Diplomacy Summer School delegates. If you attended the Science Diplomacy Summer School, please occupy the first 3 rows on my right, and that will be on your left. And for the rest of the special engaged research conference delegates, you may sit anywhere in the room. Thank you. Thank you very much, delegates. I now assume that we back from the breakaway rooms, and I went to a few, they were packed. Thank you so much for being disciplined conference delegates. We're going to come back to your conference now. We just need to take a short left, as South Africans would say. And the short left is going to give you a flavor of what was happening at the HSRC since last week, Wednesday. Since last week, Wednesday, we had the pleasure of hosting a science diplomacy summer school at the HSRC. This summer school gathered guests from the length and breadth of the country, scientists, policymakers, decision makers. We also had at the summer school members of the different diplomatic missions. We had guests from various countries in the SADC region. We had guests from countries beyond the SADC region in the continent. We also had guests from outside our own continent. You may not have realized, because these important people mingled with you during the Engaged Research Conference as if they were normal people. So, now this is the moment. We infused diplomacy with science and afforded our science diplomacy summer school delegates an opportunity to also attend and engage with the Engaged Research Conference, so that as they go back to their countries, they can take the important lessons that we all learned during this conference back home. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Connie Sobane to tell us briefly about the Science Diplomacy School, and followed immediately by Ambassador Anesh Maestri from the Department of International Relations in South Africa, DERCO, followed by the CEO, Professor Sarah Muswetsa. Then we're going to do the certification, and Ambassador Maestri and Professor Muswetsa will then meet and take pictures with the delegates as they take their certificates. And when that is finished with Ambassador Maestri and Professor Muswetsa, we will invite Ms. Chwechwe Mukuka, who is the Second Secretary of the Political Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in Zambia, to say a word. And that will give you a taste of what has been happening in your midst since Wednesday. Over to you, Dr. Sobane.
Thank you, Program Chair, DDG Patel, Ambassador Maestri, the CEO. I would like to start by saying or quoting or citing what you said, CEO, in the speech that you made in the lunch breakfast. You said when you started thinking about science diplomacy initiatives, it was just an inkling and you didn't know how it's going to pan out. Today, I want to present to you the size of that inkling. The inkling kicked off with delegates from 33 countries, a total of 14 SADC diplomats, 5 delegates from East Africa, 7 delegates from West Africa, 2 delegates from North Africa, delegates also from the UK, BRICS, and the EU. And all this set of diplomats, scientists, and practitioners came together to agree on one thing. As Africa, we can no longer be at the periphery of science diplomacy tables. We cannot just be those that get contacted when others need an additional vote, but we actually have a voice and we have enough science and innovation for us to be in those tables as negotiators as well, and taking our own science into those diplomatic circles and processes. That is what we did in the 10 days that we were together online and in person. In short, I would say, yes, there were a number of topics that were covered, but we also started positioning ourselves, a cohort of people that are positioning Africa as a negotiator and not just up there for grabs as a voter. CEO, here is your inkling. We are done with the program. I don't want to say much. I just want to say thank you to you for the vision. Thank you to our facilitators that shaped the program and that shaped everything that we have done. Thank you to the partners that were there with us all the time. And I would like to make a special mention to the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, the Science Diplomacy Capital for Africa, SASTA, ASAF, SciAS, the CSIR, DECO, TOAS, UNESCO, AAS, the PPS and SFA. This is just the breadth and depth of the partners that we have all over the continent. But colleagues, I wouldn't be able to get off this stage without acknowledging the team that worked on this. On my right, starting from that side, it's Mamelo Tsawani and our colleague Emmanuel Rampele, Lumka Luzipo. Somewhere there at the back, there is also Samantha and Tato Hatsimadumo, together with our executive, Dr. Mzindona. These were the engines that were behind this work. And thank you very much, colleagues. I don't want to take much time, and I acknowledge all of you, our delegates that came to join the summer school as well. So, CEO, these are the delegates that completed the 10-day program and that we are going to give certificate of attendance to. Delegates, you will collect your certificate there, and then you will come and stand here, and our CEO and Ambassador Maestri will come and receive you. Adekola Ayobami, Chimutengeza Francis, can I ask that we clap once the group of 8 is here so that we clap only once? Da Silva Deborah, De Aguia Cipriano, Dlamini Magimba, Dube Jerit, Jemo Justin, Godfrey Happiness, and Juma Thomas. CEO, that is the list of 8. Can we can we go? Next is Khosano Mpumelelo. Okay. Khosano Mpumelelo, Kleinhans Lachi, Machaka Maharaj, and Mafumo. Next, can we have Masiba, Matiti, Main, Mbokochema Farai, Mohoba Lesheja, Mcha Mahlati. And as they prepare for their picture, can we have Omba Shako, Phahla Lehlohonolo, Harilanto to approach the table, Razwinana, Corinne Natasha, Risto Haveni, and after the clap, can we have Simelane, Nomkebo, Tsebe Lerato, Jared, Foslo Ivan, you got here, colleagues. Oh, they're still taking pictures. You go. Yes. Okay. And next, Wambura George, Wetugi Shila, Zondi Tabani, and everyone else that we have not called yet. As they are preparing themselves, this is our last group, colleagues. Can I please ask our facilitators that are in the room to also prepare themselves to take a picture with Ambassador and the CEO, and I promise CEO that's the last group. Our facilitators. Why were they? Facilitators, if you are here, can you please come? I see you, Peter. I see you, Doc Avela. I want to say that there was HSRC facilitators that were here. I don't see if they are here.
Thank you.
On that note, can I please ask Ambassador Maestri to give a vote of thanks? Huh? No. Okay. Okay. Let me sit down, colleagues. The program director will take over.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sobane. That was not the plan, but we always make a plan. And you could see these are not just ordinary people by the way they walked the stage and how they took their pictures. And we're now going to give an opportunity to Ambassador Maestri to give us a word. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Congratulations to everybody that's completed this course. It looked like it was intense. And I hope you enjoyed it more than anything else. But the fact that I wasn't told that I was going to do this vote of thanks by Ivan, I'll be signing your performance appraisal, Ivan, wherever you are. Just remember that. And I'll remember this. Ladies and gentlemen, science diplomacy in Africa has been something that we haven't taken seriously as diplomats and also as institutions. And I think what the HSRC, in partnership with their main partners, but with the DSTI, Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, has done here is groundbreaking. And I think this is the first step for us to build a cohort of people that can go out onto the continent and progressively build institutions and have knowledge for science diplomacy. I know many diplomats in the room will say that our core business is foreign policy. Well, the world has changed quite fundamentally. We keep on saying science, diplomacy for science, science for diplomacy, science in diplomacy. We really, really need to articulate that in the work we do. The world is changing fundamentally. I've been the focal point for the Department of International Relations on the G20 in terms of the Task Force on Artificial Intelligence and the Digital Economy Working Group. And the fundamentals that are built around these two important areas, I cannot accentuate. They are going to be important elements of how we do everything in society as we move forward. Because whether we like it or not, it's going to have an impact and it's going to change our core business. So what we have experienced here for over a month, the planning that's gone into this has been fundamental. I have to say, the colleagues from HSRC, you guys are superstars. Every one of you, I mean, during our planning meetings, Lumka just knew what she wanted from us, and she front-loaded it. But the rest of the colleagues that were on board that developed this really, really groundbreaking program, we thank you. But CEO, thank you very much for inviting us and people from the continent, especially our own neighbors in SADC, to be part of this wonderful, wonderful journey. It's just the start of the journey. You need to go back to your capitals, to your foreign ministries, to your institutions and departments of science, and you need to be the advocates and the champions for science diplomacy. We really, really need to move this process forward. So I thank you all. Again, such a big thanks to the HSRC. They've been phenomenal. So thank you very much and congratulations again, ladies and gentlemen. And being a good and old diplomat, I did that without any notes. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, facilitators, and fellow participants, ladies and gentlemen. For those who may have forgotten my name or don't know me, my name is Chom Kuka, and recently also known as Zambia. On behalf of all the participants of the Science Diplomacy Summer School, I'm truly honored to deliver this vote of thanks. Over the past 10 days, we've shared not just knowledge, but laughter, bold ideas, experiences, and maybe one too many cups of coffee. We arrived as diplomats, scientists, and policy enthusiasts, and we live as one big family of science diplomats. Fluent in the language of collaboration and teamwork. This summer school and the Engage Research Conference has truly expanded our horizons, from policy formulation and global engagement to exploring the use of AI, the power of evidence-based decision-making, and the art of clear communication, translating complex scientific jargon into language diplomats can finally understand. But beyond the lectures and discussions, what really stood out was the spirit of unity. Africans from across the continent coming together with one goal, to bridge science and policy for betterment of our continent. A huge thank you to the Human Sciences Research Council and all its partners for bringing this brilliant idea to life, for not just birthing a concept, but nurturing an experience that has inspired and transformed us all, and hosting us here at the beautiful Birchwood Hotel, giving us not just a training program, but a truly transformative experience. I have gained a few kilos from their delicious menu. The mix of science, diplomacy, and South African hospitality has been nothing short of brilliant. We leave Birchwood a little wiser, a little more diplomatic. To our facilitators and speakers, thank you for your patience, wisdom, and keeping us inspired even after long sessions. To the various embassies, institutions, and organizations that made it possible for their members to join us by all means necessary, thank you. Your support made this shared experience a reality. Finally, to my fellow participants, what an incredible group. We came from different backgrounds, accents, and time zones, but we found common ground in our curiosity and a shared passion to make a difference. As we head back home to our respective countries, we carry with us knowledge, networks, and memories we've built here. Let's keep the spirit of collaboration alive, and yes, let's keep that WhatsApp group and engagement platforms buzzing for future science diplomacy adventures. Today, we've proven that science diplomacy isn't just a concept, it's alive, it's vibrant, and is powered by people like us who care enough to make it happen. Releboha, siyabonga, twatotela, merci, diabulela, datenda, muito obrigado, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that beautiful speech. I have a short announcement to make from HSRC Press and the library. They have asked me to announce that we have an early Black Friday in South Africa. The books are still available at 250 per copy, and if you buy two, you get them for 400 rands only. And the book, The Future South Africa We Want, is also still available. It is also selling at 250. It's very important that we get a copy of that book and read it. And most importantly, that I know it's already end of the year now, and there are things that are already lined up, but early next year, we're looking forward to your book reviews for that book because it is hot off the oven for the HSRC. So we would like to hear from you. Engage research. So please do the book reviews. We would like to hear from you what you think of the book. Mr. Patel, we sat, we listened, we watched, we spoke, we heard, we learned that engaged research is a culture, it's a practice, it's a framework beyond benevolence. It's not being kind to the other. but an important and a fundamental principle that as researchers we need to carry forward. And at this point, I would like to invite you, Mr. Imran Patel, who is the Director General at the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation in South Africa, to come and give us closing remarks. Thank you very much. Let us welcome him.
Thanks for the promotion, but I'm Deputy Director General. And very comfortable in that space. I don't want to be a Director General. That's at the explicit phase between politics and administration. I was asked to just keep it very brief. I thought it was originally a panel. My colleague from the NRF, Gugu Moshe, just sent through, I think G20 preparations are underway, so they testing out the traffic, so she's stuck in traffic. So let me be briefed around my closing remarks and make a suggestion on the way forward, which I was told needs to happen. So clearly we had a very good scene-setting presentation from the Minister, contextualizing science, technology and innovation in the context of a clear changing geopolitics. It's good that we ended off with the science diplomacy cause. These are matters that are coming up. It's going to be the area for contestation and change. But highlighted a number of things that we need to do as a science community to place science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, industry, society, education, and the planet. Clearly, one of those enablers is a new way, a better way of doing science. I think the comment earlier on is that it's not something benevolent. If the scientific enterprise is to do what it's meant to do, and that is to effect real meaningful change, then it needs to be done with purpose in mind. And part of that purpose is engaged research. Now, I know earlier the program talked about, do we need an engaged research framework? I would propose that we caution against a specific engaged research framework. The NRF does have an engaged research or responsible research framework, but to have a focus, and yeah, we would welcome your comments on how is it that we as government can lead. The entities need to obviously have their own institutional policies around engaged research and what it means, what's the definition, how does it get done. I heard we had some corridor discussions that there was a very big focus on community engaged research, but maybe engaged research is broader than that. If you engage with policymakers, it's a different form of engaged research. But all of those, together with terminology like evidence-based policymaking, evidence synthesis, science diplomacy, etc., needs to come together into a meta framework. A meta framework that has the dual purpose of effecting that culture change on all parts. Even policymakers need to engage with science, technology, and innovation differently. Thankfully, in South Africa, the role of science, technology, and innovation for policy and for policy support, unlike some other jurisdictions, is in fact on the up. There's a lot more of an acknowledgement of the importance of embedding our national development priorities in evidence-based policymaking. So the first thing we need to do is create this buzz that science is changing. Science with purpose means very different things, and it means that there's new behaviors, new patterns, new institutional arrangements, new ways of doing things that needs to be forged. Some of these are not so new. We may have to draw on existing practices, and I wasn't part of the sessions, but I'm told there were rich discussions on the practice of science engagement. So what I'm proposing is a meta framework that does that first. It kind of mobilized an ambition and agenda broadly in society on this new science that we require. And the second is to provide practical guidelines on how this can get done and what do we need to do differently in order to support it. I think as research funders, as an example, even what we measure would be different. We would measure the number of publications. That creates a buzz for people to publish. But do we spend enough time, including in that metric, the very important part of research, which is not ends at the paper, is the dissemination and the feedback loops once you disseminate on what was the impact of that research. So we need to rethink some of those from a policy perspective. How do we encourage? How do we engage? How do we create the forums, the platforms? How do we introduce greater scientific acknowledgement and understanding? And in this context, the DSTI has been using the framework of citizen science as an example. I see it as another element of this meta framework. So I want to conclude by suggesting that we, once the kind of dust is settled and the HSRC, NRF, and others who were part of the impressive array of institutions who pull this together has time to pull together a kind of a report of issues that come out of here, is to then facilitate an engagement with the same partners, but include DSTI in that room, to look at what we can do to institutionalize this new compact between science and society. And that's why I haven't found the words for it, but engage research for me is an element of a much bigger agenda that we need to kind of pull together. So your contributions will hopefully find its way into some practical actions and steps. We're not here just to have conferences. We would like to hear and experiment with new ways of doing things so that this emerging scientific enterprise can live up to its promise of being an enabler for positive change in the world. So thanks everyone. I'm not going to formally close and do the rest, so let me leave the stage at this point in time. Thanks.
Thank you to the Deputy Director General, Mr. Imran Patel. Professor Muswetsa, we hosted 17 parallel sessions and 4 plenary sessions, and through it all, you sat here with us. Our delegates in the room and our delegates online felt your presence throughout these 3 days. And as we close this successful and powerful gathering, I would like to invite our CEO, Professor Muswetsa, to give us her closing remarks. Thank you.
Sure. How do I even close? Do I even want to close? Say closing remarks. Our DDG and I have something prepared here, but I thought that I should start here. It's always refreshing, Imran, listening to you. And as you were talking, I'm like, yeah, this needs to be 5 minutes. Otherwise, I'm not going to know how to position what you're going to say. And I'm hearing what you're saying in terms of our next steps with our partners, and indeed, as DSTI, we just don't do conferencing for the sake of conferencing. So thank you, and thank you also for just being also the support behind everything that we have done the last this week, but the planning in the last literally the last 6 months. Thank you so much. Colleagues, partners, friends, and family of the HSRC, thank you for the depth of thinking, the honesty, the generosity that you brought into the space. And if I had more time to revise my speech that I have been drafting until 2 a.m. this morning, I was going to actively add the humility that you brought. But then I would have been very convenient, because I would have been plagiarizing the discussion that also happened this morning. Over these sessions in the last few days, we have shown that engaged research is not a slogan. It is a method, a mindset, and also a social construct that also needs to be deconstructed. We also asked very difficult questions to ourselves, to one another. We were eager to learn, and we learned deeply. We relearned. we de-learned, what is that other one? De-learned, unlearned. From the questions that we asked, the silences that we held, we learned deeply, I know. We listened to the voices that challenged us to look inward and outward, to connect the intellectual with the emotional, and the personal with the political. For research is deeply political. In doing so, we reminded ourselves that the pursuit of knowledge is never neutral, never neutral. It is always shaped by who we are, where we stand, and whom we choose to stand with. This conference has invited us to confront not only social realities that shape our research, but also, and Imran has also mentioned this, but it is a minister who nudged us, that it is not just the social realities that shape our research, but also the geopolitical ones. We cannot do meaningful work without recognizing how global forces, historical injustices, and unequal systems of power structure of our studies and how we study it. The politics of knowledge, who produces it? I was listening. Someone said this. The politics of knowledge, who produces it, whose voices are amplified, and whose experiences are rendered invisible, remain central to our mission as scholars, as diplomats, as public servants, as citizens of our beautiful continent. The global fractures we see around us, from widening inequalities and climate injustice to wars and displacement, remind us that research must not only explain the world, but should also change it. The struggle for justice, wherever it takes place, is inseparable from our own, inseparable from our own. We will not be free, as the minister correctly reminded us, of our own. I say to my son, the first president of this country, we will not be free until the people of Palestine are free. Our solidarity must be intellectual, moral, practical, grounded in a shared humanity that insists that freedom, dignity, and peace are important and urgent. Our deliberations this week, your deliberations this week, were indeed deliberate. And I'm happy that they were also very principled. Because as I started and welcomed all of you, I said, here are the principles that I think we need to hold dear as we engage with each other. So thank you very much. The program was designed, Dr. Mzi and the team, was designed to bring emerging researchers into dialogue with seasoned scholars, to create a platform where mentoring and mutual learning could flourish. It was not a South African conference. It was an African conversation situated within the broader vision of the Africa Agenda 2063 and the aspirations of a continent that refuses to be marginal in the global knowledge production, in solidarity with the world. For it is that solidarity that brought us here. For it is that solidarity that brought even South Africa to where we are today. And I want to thank all our facilitators and all our speakers from traveling very far, who knew that we would have friends from the US, especially now. Thank goodness in South Africa an ambassador is here. We are not going to revoke anyone's passport. We were intentional about inclusion. We ensured that all voices mattered. I don't know if you were counting how many women were addressing us throughout the 3 days. That youth remains important. As we started our summer school, someone said to me, "Where's the youth?" Sure, you've met a few young people, including myself. The community partners were not on the margins. Think about how we started with the first plenary session, deliberately, beautifully, and intellectually stimulating, led by our executives, starting with Professor Swartz. They were indeed at the center of our dialogue. This was not about HSRC talking to itself or talking at you. It was about HSRC listening to be transformed, listening to understand, and co-creating a new vocabulary of engagement that bridges research and reality. It was no coincidence that most of the questions indeed came from researchers at the HSRC, because we were engaging, because we wanted to learn from you. We were not the experts. We also hope that you are still inspired by the powerful, joyful moments that we shared earlier this week at the HSRC interns graduation. The energy in the room, the commitment and the belief in the transformative power of our youth remind us why we do what we do at the HSRC. We were equally delighted to see so many of you also engaging with the HSRC press. Of course, the free books. Browsing our catalogs, deciding whether it's 5 books or 10 books. I know that the 10 was an over-exaggeration from my side, and I apologize for that. Apparently it went down to 5, and we still owe you 5. So therefore, at our next conference, we will make sure that we remind ourselves that it's a loan, and we will indeed bring back your 5 books. Please do not run any campaign hashtag, "Where are my books?" At the HSRC Press, we pride ourselves that knowledge must circulate. The press remains one of our most fundamental vehicles for doing exactly that, connecting scholarship, society, and imagination. There are 3 insights that have emerged from our collective reflections. First, genuine engagement begins long before field work. It starts in how we define our research problems, who sits at the table when those problems are framed. Second, communities are not subjects to be studied. They are partners in thought and in practice, co-authors of knowledge. Co-authors of knowledge that shapes policy and change. Third, impact cannot be measured. Thank you very much. Our former colleague and still a colleague, I'm sure, as he was presenting Edmo this morning, he kept on saying we. I'm like, who is we? Is it you, Jay, or is it HSRC? And then I quickly realized he still sees himself as part of we, HSRC, which is fantastic. That impact cannot be measured only by citation, counts, or journal rankings. It must be felt in policies that work, budgets that reflect justice, and lives that are lived with greater dignity. Engaged research, therefore, calls on us to work with humility there. And persistence. It's time-consuming. I remember the second plenary session. To build relationships that endure beyond projects, and to stand accountable to those whose lives we claim to represent. At the HSRC, we are committed to carrying these lessons forward. We will strengthen core design as standard principle in project development, and we've already started with that. We will deepen our ethical framework to reflect principles of reciprocity, transparency, and long-term benefit. We will develop new tools and frameworks. As you would hear, the pressure is on from our principals to measure impact not only by academic outputs, and I'm very happy that in our new strategy 2030, there's nothing that talks about how we need to measure ourselves around how many people have done this and this about our individual work, right? In doing so, we hope to contribute to a research culture that is not only excellent, it's one of our values at the HSRC, but also transformative, a culture that reimagines scholarship as service. I will conclude just now. To the emerging researchers present here, to the youth present here, to the graduates' first gala dinner that we hosted, I am hoping, and we are hoping, that your curiosity, your courage, and relentlessness have indeed, for you and for us, I know for us, they have been a gift. Continue to ask difficult questions and hold us accountable to the ideals we profess. To our policy makers, to our funders, to our partners, thank you for trusting us as the HSRC with your realities, for reminding us that research must stay connected to people. Indeed, to our funders and collaborators, your faith in evidence-driven transformation keeps this work and will keep this work alive. And finally, allow me to congratulate the inaugural, the first graduates, the now alumni of the Science Diplomacy Summer School. You, how I wish I could have had a crystal ball to give me this moment, nerve-wracking, bold as the idea was. I'm glad that we're here. You have shown what it means to connect research, policy, international collaboration with empathy, with excellence, with poise, with purpose. Your presence here strengthens the bridge between local realities and global dialogues. As HSRC, we look forward to walking this path with you as part of a growing and connected network of African proud science diplomats. The work from this conference should not end with the applause that I've been hearing. New partnerships must be explored and strengthened. We're committing ourselves to that as HSRC. Funding remains important for the HSRC and for many of us in the continent. There was an idea of us even coming together and having a Pan-African funding space, research funding pool. And for our continued collaboration with like-minded people, that also remains important. Those like-minded institutions, like the foundations, like the IEC that Mr. Mamabulo was representing, like the good partners that we have also brought to this conversation. The private sector has a role to play, as our Deputy Minister reminded us. And that role is indeed in line with the mantra of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation of placing science, technology and innovation at the center of government, of education, of industry and society. And if you like, that could also be a very interesting way of thinking about our theme of engaged research. For it should be a dialogue of all of those players: government, education, industry, and society. We call, as our minister, deputy minister also articulated very clearly and eloquently on the first day, we call on indeed the private sector and government and all other partners, particularly the private sector, and to interact with us, use research to inform some of the policy and decision making. It was heartwarming to listen to a young engineer confessing his sins. I don't know where he's sitting. That as an innovator, he forgot about sociology. And indeed, it did not go well. Civil society and universities also have a critical role to play in developing collaborative projects that connect evidence, people, and change. We invite all of you, as the HSRC, to stay with us on this important journey. Let me conclude by again thanking all our partners, and they are all here. We've mentioned many of them. I think we have not mentioned PASCA. Pauline, thank you very much for being here and traveling, like many others in this room, traveling very far to build on this notion of engaged research partnerships. To the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, I've never been at home like I've been at home in this department. The first day of opening this conference was humbling, to say the least, Imran. Of everything that is currently going on in the country and in our department, that we will have senior executives sitting with us here means a lot to Team HSRC, to the humanities and social sciences, to me personally. To the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, I think we're just continuing where we left off with BRICS, with G20. I think ours is just a seamless working together. And thank you, Ambassador, for being here. Now, sometimes, and I don't know why it's associated with the Zulu culture, because it's always said in isiZulu, that, and I will not translate. So, we're going to do that, and you're going to know why, or the translation by what I'm going to do. To the HSRC executive team, I need you to stand to acknowledge you in this room. I'm sure you know yourselves. HSRC executive team? Charlene? Are you not sure? Where is she? Oh, all right. We represent Charlene. That's Dr. Ditaunyane. That's Yakomin. You need to clap very hard. She holds the purse. She holds the purse. So we right. Of course, you've met Dr. Mzi, and in absentia, Professor Charlene Swartz and Kangelani Zuma. Thank you very much. Now, the organizing team. There were not 100 people that were organizing this. I know that it looks very seamless, Ambassador. Organizing team, please stand. Organizing team. Ow. Organizing team, you're not proud. I'm proud. Organizing team, thank you. Organizing team. super proud of everything that you have done. To our facilitators, and some of them are in the room, are still in the room, and every single person in this room, every single one of you, for making this, as they say, a dream come true. For the learning, for the unlearning, for the partnerships, all of you in this room, you have served the scholarship and society we care about in the last 3 days. And may that continue. I am grateful.
Thank you, CEO. It is exactly 12 minutes past 1 and lunch is served. If you have not checked out yet, please make sure to check out and leave your room card at the reception. Please check the times for your transfers to the airport and make sure you do not miss your flight. As Yakomin, you met her, from here she's going straight home and she's not doing any deviations for people who miss their flights. The Science Diplomacy Summer School delegates, after lunch, please check the WhatsApp group. We will be reconvening for our last session. There is a QR code that has been sent to all of you on email. I had promised it will be flighted as well, so IT can flight it. Please click on the QR code on your smartphone where it says Google. On your right, there's a camera. That is the camera that you show to the QR code. Then it will create a text box. Then it will show you what this QR code is about. You click, amazingly, it will open the form for you. Please take a few minutes, complete the form. We would love to hear from you what you think of this conference, and we would also love to get your suggestions for our future conferencing. Thank you very much. You have been a wonderful audience. Give yourselves a big round of applause as you make your way to lunch. Thank you.
Let me stand here. No, stand there. Take me here. With the podium.
Thank you. Is it? Oh, happiness. Yes. No, I was just running around the job, so they just arrived.
Thanks so much.